A Chinese company you have probably never heard of just dropped an AI model that codes better than GPT-4o, reads 1 million words at once, and costs almost nothing to run. It launched yesterday. Most people in your feed have not even noticed yet. And by the time they do, the people who are paying attention right now will already be miles ahead. This is Deepseek V4, and what happened in the last 24 hours is the kind of thing that quietly resets the entire AI race, while everyone is still arguing about the last one. If you use AI for work, for coding, for writing, for anything, you need to hear what is actually inside this thing. Because the gap between people who know about V4 today and people who find out next month is going to be huge. Let me back up for a second. Deepseek is the same Chinese lab that wiped $600 billion off NVIDIA's stock price last year. One model, one weekend, $600 billion. Wall Street panicked because Deepseek proved you could build a top-tier AI for a tiny fraction of what OpenAI and Anthropic were spending. Everyone said it was a one-time fluke. They said the next version would slow down. They said the West would catch up. They were wrong. Because V4 is not a small step forward. It is a leap. And here's the part that really matters. It is open source. You can download it. You can run it on your own machine. You do not pay a subscription. You do not send your data to a server in California. You just use it. And it is better at coding than the tools most developers are paying $200 a month for. Hold that thought, because there is one number coming up in a minute that I genuinely could not believe when I first read it. I will get to it. Quick pause, though, because if you are watching this and thinking, fine, but I am not a coder, what does this have to do with me? This next part is for you. AI Profit Boardroom is where I show people who run normal businesses how to actually use tools like Deepseek V4 to save hours every single week. We walk through real workflows, real automations, real ways to plug a model like V4 into your daily work without needing to know a single line of code. If you want to understand how regular business owners are using stuff like this to write content, build internal tools, automate the boring parts of their day, the link is in the description. Now, back to it. Here is the simplest way to think about what Deepseek did. Imagine the smartest AI model on the market is a luxury car. It drives beautifully, but costs $100,000, and only the rich can have one. Deepseek just released a car that drives almost the same, sometimes better, and they parked it in your driveway with the keys inside and a sign that says, "Take it, it's yours." That is what open source means here. They gave it away. There are 2 versions. The big one is called V4 Pro. It has 1.6 trillion total parameters, but only 49 billion of them activate at a time. That last part is what makes it cheap to run. Then there is V4 Flash, the smaller, faster cousin with 284 billion total and 13 billion active. Flash runs almost as well as Pro for most tasks at a much lower cost. Both can read up to 1 million tokens of context. That means you can drop an entire novel, an entire code base, a full year of your company's emails into the prompt window, and the model will actually use all of it. For comparison, GPT-4o tops out at 128,000 tokens. Claude reaches 200,000. Deepseek V4 does 1 million. That is not a small difference. That is a different category of tool. Now here's the number I promised. On a benchmark called SWE Bench, which tests whether an AI can actually fix real bugs in real software repositories, Deepseek V4 scored over 80%. Claude 3.5, Sonnet, the gold standard most senior engineers swear by, scored 73%. GPT-4o landed around 70%. On Human Evil, the standard coding test, V4 hit 90%. That is not catching up. That is passing. A free model from a Chinese lab just outperformed the most expensive proprietary tools in the world at the one task they were supposed to dominate. A developer named Daniel Roberts posted a thread on X yesterday showing V4 fixing a bug in a 6,000-file Python repo in under a minute. He said it found a problem his team had been hunting for 3 days. 3 days of senior engineer time, solved by a free model in 60 seconds. That post hit 4 million views before lunch. And here's where the story gets really interesting. Deepseek built something called Engram conditional memory. Most AI models forget things across long documents. They lose track. Engram lets V4 reason across an entire code base, like a human developer would, holding the structure of the whole project in its head while it works on one small piece. Pair that with the million token context window, and you have a model that can genuinely understand a full software project. Not just snippets. The whole thing. The early agent demos are wild. Someone fed V4 a one-line prompt that said, "Build me a working e-commerce site with Stripe checkout, a product catalog, and a contact form." 11 minutes later, it had written the code, set up the database, deployed the front end, and tested its own work. It even caught 2 of its own bugs and fixed them without being asked. The whole thing cost less than a coffee and API fees. Now I want to be straight with you, because there is plenty of hype in this space and you deserve a clear-eyed take. Deepseek V4 is not perfect. The benchmarks I just quoted come from a mix of leaked test results and the company's own technical report. Some of those numbers will likely shift once independent labs verify them. The model also has clear limits when it comes to questions about Chinese politics, and you should assume it has been trained with certain topics softened or avoided. If that matters for your work, you need to know that going in. There is also the security question. Running it locally is fine, but if you use the official API hosted in China, your data flows through Chinese servers. For most personal projects, that does not matter. For a regulated business handling customer data, it matters a lot. So the smart move for serious work is to download the weights and run it on your own machine, or use one of the Western hosting providers already spinning up V4 endpoints. But here is the reframe. Even with those caveats, the fact that you can run a model this powerful on a single high-end gaming GPU, a 4000 or 5000 series NVIDIA card, is genuinely historic. 2 years ago, this level of capability required a data center. Now it fits under your desk. That shift does not undo itself. Step back for a second and think about what is actually happening. For 3 years, the entire AI industry has been built on a quiet assumption. The best models are expensive, closed, and controlled by 3 or 4 American companies. You pay them. You wait for them to release new features. You hope they do not raise prices. That assumption is breaking in real time. Deepseek V4 means a small team in a garage in Lahore or Lagos or São Paulo can now build software at the same level as a funded startup in San Francisco. The barrier just collapsed. This is also why NVIDIA's stock dipped again yesterday. Investors are starting to realize that if models keep getting cheaper and more efficient, the demand for endless new chips might not grow the way Wall Street priced in. The next year of AI is not going to be about who has the biggest model. It is going to be about who uses these tools fastest and most creatively. And the people who win are the ones paying attention right now, while it still feels early. You believed before clicking on this video that the best AI was something you rented from Silicon Valley. After today, that is no longer true. You can download something just as good, often better, for free. That changes the math on every single decision you make about which tools to learn, which platforms to build on, and how much you should be paying for AI right now. So before you go, 2 quick things. If you run any kind of business and you want to actually use Deepseek V4 or any AI model to save time, automate the boring parts of your work, and stop spending hours on tasks that a model can do in minutes, AI Profit Boardroom is built exactly for that. Real workflows, real tools, real people getting their evenings back. Link is in the description. And if you want the full process behind videos like this one, the SOPs, the prompts, the breakdowns, plus over 100 AI use cases you can copy and paste into your work tomorrow, come join us at AI Success Lab. It is our free community with over 67,000 members who are quietly crushing it with these tools. All the notes from this video are in there too. Links in the comments and the description. Now I want to hear from you. What is the one AI tool you would not give up right now? The one you actually use every single day? Drop it in the comments. I read them all, and I am genuinely curious what is sticking for people.